Hey there. Ever catch yourself daydreaming about a job where you basically get paid to talk about travel? And I don't just mean like booking flights and hotels, but really getting to the heart of what makes a place special.
Yeah, becoming like a local expert.
Exactly. Well, that's what we're diving into today, the ins and outs of being a tourist information officer.
And it's way more than just handing out maps and brochures. We're talking about a role that blends, real knowledge with genuine human connection.
Right, like you got to be passionate about this stuff. So we dug into some career guides and industry reports, and one thing that really jumped out was this whole idea of crafting personalized experiences for tourists. Like it's not enough to just rattle off a list of the top 10 attractions anymore.
Not at all. Tourists today, they're looking for those authentic, those unique and memorable experiences.
Yeah, they want to feel like they're in the know.
Exactly. So a good tourist information officer, they're almost like a travel matchmaker. They really listen to what a visitor is looking for, what they're into, and then tailor their suggestions.
That makes sense. So it's about really understanding what the traveler wants, even if they haven't quite figured out how to articulate it themselves.
Exactly. You're reading between the lines, tapping into their travel personality.
I can see how that would be super rewarding. But let's be real, not every traveler is a delight to work with, right? I mean, the sources we looked at, they mentioned dealing with difficult tourists can be a real thing in this line of work.
Oh, absolutely. You need a thick skin, for sure, and a knack for staying calm under pressure.
So what's the strategy there? Just grin and bear it.
Well, the material we looked at highlighted this really interesting technique called the LAER method. Basically, it stands for listen, acknowledge, explore, and then resolve.
Okay, break that down for me.
So it starts with, actively listening to the complaint, really letting the person vent. Then you acknowledge their frustration. You don't want to make them feel dismissed.
Right, because even if you don't agree with them, they're feeling some type of way.
Exactly. Then you move into exploring solutions together, like you're on the same team. And finally, you try to reach a resolution that leaves everyone, feeling heard.
That LAER method, that's good stuff. I feel like that's applicable beyond just tourism, honestly.
Oh, for sure. Conflict resolution is a life skill.
Totally. Now, on a lighter note, one perk that caught my eye was the potential for travel discounts.
Oh, yeah. Perks.
Makes sense, being in the industry and all.
Yeah, you'd have the inside scoop. Discounts are great and all, but I think the real perk, especially for someone who's passionate about travel, is that constant exposure to new trends and insider knowledge. Like, think about it, you'd be right at the forefront of the whole experiential travel movement.
Could you elaborate on that a bit? What does experiential travel actually mean in this context?
Sure. Some people might think, oh, it's extreme adventures or something.
Bungee jumping, skydiving, that sort of thing.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to be that extreme at all. It's more about seeking out those authentic interactions with a place and its people. Maybe it's taking a cooking class with local chefs or exploring hidden historical sites that most tourists don't know about.
Yeah.
Or even joining a community festival, something that really immerses you in the local culture.
Oh, I see. So instead of just hitting the main tourist traps, you're getting a more genuine kind of under-the-surface experience.
Exactly. It's about digging a little deeper.
I can definitely get behind that. And it sounds like a tourist information officer plays a big role in curating those kinds of experiences.
Yeah, they really do. And to curate those really high-quality experiences, our research shows there's a real need for these tourist information officers to be constantly learning. It's not a learn it once type of role.
Definitely not. Things are always changing.
Exactly.
New restaurants pop up, events get rescheduled. Heck, even the bus routes can change without much notice.
They're so true. Yeah. So you've got to be adaptable, resourceful.
You need to be a pro at researching, right? And not just using old school methods, but knowing how to use the latest tech tools to stay on top of things.
Absolutely. Speaking of tech, that's another big thing we noticed in our research. AI is making some serious waves in the tourism industry.
Oh, yeah, I've been hearing about that. What, like AI-powered travel agents?
Kind of.
Yeah.
But more than that, imagine having access to a program that, say, analyzes global travel trends in real time or helps you personalize recommendations down to the smallest detail.
Whoa.
Right.
So instead of relying on last year's travel blogs, you could be recommending these hidden gems based on up-to-the-minute data.
Exactly. It's next level stuff.
That's wild. It almost sounds futuristic.
It's closer than you think. But even with all these incredible advances in technology, one thing that really came through in our research is the importance of that human touch. That's still what makes this role so special.
Totally. Because
Yeah.
you can't program empathy, right?
Exactly.
You can have all the data in the world, but a big part of this job is understanding what a traveler really wants, even if they don't know how to express it themselves.
100%. It's about connecting on a human level.
Yeah.
Which brings us to another important aspect of being a tourist information officer, communication skills.
Right, which makes sense. You're constantly interacting with people.
All day long,
Yeah.
and from all walks of life. So the source material we went through, it really broke down the typical career path for someone in this role, and it's actually pretty interesting.
Oh, how so?
Well, it's not always a straight line up to a managerial position, although that is a possibility.
Okay.
But there's also a lot of room for what they call lateral moves.
Lateral moves.
Yeah, like you could become a specialist in a certain type of tourism.
Hmm.
Say you become a destination marketing specialist, or you focus on sustainable tourism, or maybe you become an expert in accessible travel for people with disabilities.
Oh, wow. So there's a lot of different ways you can kind of niche down within this field. That's really cool. And no matter what path you choose, I imagine communication skills are still key.
Oh, they're essential.
Mm.
And I don't just mean being friendly and outgoing, although that helps, but you need to be able to convey information clearly and in an engaging way, sometimes to a really diverse group of people.
Right. You could have a group of retirees from Florida 1 minute and then a family from Japan the next.
Exactly. And you need to be able to connect with all of them. One point that really resonated with me from the research was the importance of cultural sensitivity.
Oh, for sure. That makes sense.
Because in a way, a tourist information officer acts as a kind of cultural ambassador, right?
That's a great way to put it.
Bridging the gap between the visitor and the local community.
You're the face of the place, in a way.
Yeah, so you need to be aware of those cultural nuances, those differences, and you have to adapt your communication style accordingly. What might be considered polite in one culture could be totally off-putting in another.
Oh, absolutely. Like how much eye contact you make, how close you stand to someone, all those little things can make a big difference.
Totally. And it's not just about avoiding a faux pas. It's about really fostering genuine understanding and appreciation between people from different backgrounds.
Love that. So it sounds like this role requires a pretty unique mix of knowledge, people skills, and that ability to think on your feet and adapt to different situations.
It does.
So for anyone out there listening who's seriously considering this as a career path, I'm curious about the qualifications. What kind of education or certifications would give someone a leg up?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay, hit me with it.
So a degree in, say, tourism management or hospitality, that's definitely valuable. It can give you a solid foundation in the industry.
Makes sense.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not always a hard and fast requirement, especially for entry-level positions.
Oh, really? Interesting. So you're saying experience and a genuine passion for travel can sometimes outweigh formal education.
100%.
Hmm.
In fact, a lot of the tourist information officers that we read about, they actually highlighted the importance of real-world experience.
Like what kind of experience are we talking about?
It could be anything from volunteering at local attractions to working part-time in the hospitality industry. Even just being an avid traveler yourself, like having those firsthand experiences, that can really make your application stand out.
So it's not just about having a fancy degree. It's about showing potential employers that you walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
Yeah,
It's about showing that passion.
it is. And that's actually a perfect segue into, how RoleCatcher can help.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about that earlier, how AI can be a game changer, not just for working in the tourism industry, but also for landing that dream job in the first place.
Right. Remember how we were discussing how AI is being integrated into, every aspect of the travel experience?
Yeah, like those AI-powered travel agents and recommendation engines.
Exactly. Well, RoleCatcher is kind of like that, but for your job search.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So imagine this. Instead of sending out like a generic resume and cover letter to every single job posting you see.
Which, let's be real, we've all done it.
Oh, totally.
Guilty as charged.
But with RoleCatcher, you can actually tailor your application to each specific job description. Like their AI, it dives into the keywords, the skills they're looking for, even the company culture, and it helps you figure out how to put your best foot forward.
Wow, so it's like having a personal branding expert in your back pocket.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. And it's all about making those connections between your unique set of skills and what the employer is actually looking for, which if you think about it, is exactly what a good tourist information officer does, right?
Totally. You're connecting the traveler with the perfect experience, and RoleCatcher is connecting you with the perfect role.
Exactly.
That's a great analogy. It sounds like AI has the potential to be a really powerful tool, not just for navigating the job market, but as we talked about earlier, for like really excelling in the role of a tourist information officer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get more advanced. It's an exciting time to be entering this industry. With technology changing so rapidly, who knows what the future holds for tourist information officers? I mean, maybe we'll see virtual reality tours guided by like real people or AI-powered translation tools that can break down language barriers even further.
Right. The possibilities are pretty much endless. But I think one thing we can all agree on is that no matter how advanced technology gets, you can't replace that human element.
100%.
That's always going to be at the heart of this profession.
Totally. That ability to connect with people from all over the world, to share your love for a place and create those like truly memorable travel experiences, you can't program that.
Well said. So, to wrap things up, for anyone listening who's feeling that tug towards the world of travel, who loves the idea of sharing their passion for a destination with others, becoming a tourist information officer could be an incredibly fulfilling path. It's a role that requires a unique blend of, knowledge and people skills. You got to be adaptable, a good communicator, and have that genuine passion for creating those wow moments for visitors.
Yeah, you're going to love it.
And as we've explored today, it's a field that's constantly evolving, which keeps things interesting. There are opportunities to grow your expertise, maybe even niche down into a specialized area of tourism that really lights your fire. So yeah, if you're looking for a career that's both personally and professionally rewarding, I think this just might be the ticket.